I believe that we're live. So, ladies and gentlemen, 4:03 p.m., Canoga Park, California, 2LaneLIVE headquarters. Just running a few minutes late as usual. We are live.
Why are we
Hey,
we're live.
Two
We are
Lane Wives.
live, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel because you'll always know about stuff like this. Hey,
They got to mash the bell. They got to hit the notification. Do it all.
how about those drops, the last couple drops that we've been doing? They've been great, right?
They make me high.
They make you eye?
They make me high.
You from Ireland?
Yes.
Yeah, I see.
Fantastic.
So-
I was a little bit interested, or not concerned, just interested to see, because they're more documentary interview, were we going to get the same kind of view and traction? We've had a lot of great comments about thank you for showing us the history. We're going to look at that when we get back there. They've done really well.
Yeah, we want to show them awesome riding, some great scenery, fast cornering, awesome stuff like that. But we also want to show them history. We want to show them about the places we're going, what we eat, because we have fun out there. We want to share that experience.
Well, and I think the cool part, if you look at kind of the lead up into the ride, we picked the ladies up in Salt Lake. It's beautiful. It's a little cool. We get into Rock Springs. We have a really shitty dinner.
I forgot about that.
We had a really bad dinner. The next day we get out and we start heading into Deadwood. And lo and behold, we run into rain, sleet, snow. And it was probably a 12-mile stretch, and you guys were like, what's going on? And then we jumped into the board's nest. So even before all
And that
this...
made up for everything.
It did.
And by the way, you can tell that we have Laura and Teresa sitting with us because they're going to share some of their thoughts and their riding experiences, how they pack, what they wear, when they don't like us, when they do like us.
Well, should we jump into that?
I guess we can.
Or do you want to talk about something else?
Well, we got a really cool patch.
Yep.
And we have something else you can share. This patch is really awesome. Minidoka?
Yeah, Minidoka.
Minidoka County Sheriffs from Idaho. That's awesome. But the really cool thing is we got a really nice letter, and the guy that sent the letter, his name is Galen.
Yeah, we were on the phone the other day, and he said, hey, by the way, my name is Galen. And I'm like, what? How do you spell it? And so we got into a whole thing, and he realized that we're patch collectors and said, hey, I'm going to send you a cool patch for your wall. So we're going to proudly display that.
Well, thank you, Galen. You guys spell your name with one letter different.
Yes.
He doesn't have an
I-G-A-Y-L-I-N.
Right.
And he doesn't have the L, right? Or the...
He has the Y,
Y.
but yeah. But anyway, thank you.
L-Y-N.
What else do we got here?
Well, Matt Polanco and his wife stopped by here, maybe it was a week and a half ago. They were in the car. They were headed to go see Born Free, and they brought us some wine. Matt is also a former CHP motor cop. This one is that a Grenache? Can you read that? Because I don't have my glasses
Your
on.
glasses are on your there, but yes, it's a Grenache Blanc.
Yeah, and it's a clinker block. Clinker block.
Yeah, and it's from
Clinker
Lodi.
brick.
Clinker brick.
That
Well,
sounds like
yeah.
one of your made-up
Cheers,
words.
Teresa.
Yes, cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers,
yeah.
guys.
Well, cheers.
And thank you for the wine.
So they love it, Matt. Thank you.
So, as you know, if you watch our videos, Laura and Teresa go on a good amount of trips with us. They've done hardcore riding, a lot of miles, great little towns. Packing's always fun. The couple days before the trip is always very interesting.
But I think you kind of subliminally said something there. You said they bun,
They bun.
and then you changed it to done. I think what you're talking about is their buns get tired on some seats.
Yes.
Is that what you were
I don't know, maybe.
trying to get that through the airwaves?
So,
Well, let's just let them go at it.
do you guys like riding? Do you like going on trips?
We love it.
We do. We love it. We love riding. I have to say one thing real quick because it's a couple of times we've gotten this. Teresa and I are not sisters. Sometimes we look like sisters with our hair or from behind, but we are dear friends, and
That's
we're
right.
from long-time dear friends.
And we've
But-
morphed into each other.
Exactly.
No.
30-some
sorry.
years? 30,
30 plus years.
38 years?
Yeah.
No, 39 years?
Not even 39 because we're not 30. We're not 40 yet. So
That's right.
Yep.
So definitely not 39 years.
Well, I probably answered 2 comments today. Oh my God, are your wives sisters? So I always just say at heart, but not
There
by
you
blood.
go.
There you
Yeah.
go. That's right.
Well,
Okay,
they
sorry.
have known each other long enough to be sisters, right?
Right, exactly.
We literally kind of grew up together. We were 19 when we met.
We were.
Yeah,
Where did
We
you meet?
were.
at the place we worked, a doctor's office.
Yes.
So you guys got to see Sturgis, South Dakota, Deadwood without the rally.
Well, can I go back
Yeah.
to where they met?
Yes, you can.
So you were 19, and Laura was.
19.
19 also.
I was 18, about to turn 19, and she, yes.
So you're a year apart,
A little
Yes,
less.
for a year
of
and
course.
so Laura got married to Lance, like
I-
when she was.
I met
19.
her when she came back from her honeymoon. That was the first time I met her. She came back from her honeymoon. It was her first day back, my very first day starting work. And
We
she was forced to hang out with me.
Yeah, our boss asked me to, would you hang out with Teresa? She's your age, and oops, I'm spilling. And so, befriend her, and I did, and look
Yeah.
where we are now.
So
Boy,
part
what a
of
blessing
your
that was.
goal was to find out what boyfriend she had? No, I mean, you guys mentioned this in your one-on-one stuff.
She-
Let's get to the root of
You know, back then.
No comment? And then she was with a guy that had flat feet.
Oh my God.
And then she
When
met
Lance
Galen.
and Laura were
Okay.
hanging
then-
out with her at
yeah,
James Bowie or
anyways,
David Bowie
whatever.
concerts or something. I don't know what the hell.
But then she met Galen.
The Cure.
And it's been history ever since.
The Cure, that's right.
Yes.
This is truth.
Depeche Mode and The Cure, and
Cure,
Lance
yes.
was like, who and what?
So there's a lot of history here.
And then a guy from Utah who has incredible morals comes in and sweeps her off her feet.
Josh, stop laughing.
So this is kind of how it is on the road.
Right.
Yeah.
We just have a good time.
We do.
We're blessed that, if there's little tits or tats, it's usually Lance and I. And you guys kind of get through it with us.
We just choose to ignore it.
Right, we do.
But I mean, we're blessed to have a friendship, and as long as we've had,
Right.
and the last couple of years, you guys can speak to it probably better than us, but some of the places we've traveled in the country the last few years, like on the motorcycle, we've flown places before,
Right.
but to take the bikes and get into Maine or get into Yellowstone talk a little bit about, some of the terrain you've seen the last couple of years.
We've ridden to places that I never thought I would go, whether it was flying or in a car.
Right.
It's incredible, and I look forward to each new big trip because it's, as we've said before, it's so different on a bike. Everything is different on the bike, and it's just, I don't know. And then when you're traveling with all of us, the group, it's just fun, and it's I love it.
How's it been to have a child with you?
That one
big
threw me
child?
what? We're having a child?
That's
big child?
Josh.
Oh, that child, our
I
child,
thought you
our
meant
son.
her.
What do you? Your thoughts on where we've gone?
Oh my gosh. I have enjoyed everywhere we go. I have to say, most every place we've gone to, and exactly like you said, it's like places we would never go in a car, at least for us anyways, because
Yeah.
he hates going in a car. So on the motorcycle, he'll go anywhere.
Yeah, I'll go anywhere on a motorcycle, but I think they like riding because they're with us.
I would
No,
hope
that is
so.
that
I
is
mean,
partially
Yes.
true.
But I
That
mean-
is.
I think they get the same sense of
Adrenaline?
and just the whole
The excitement.
experience of the outdoors.
That's for sure the
The
experience.
I mean, whether it's a
smells,
smell,
everything.
good or bad, you smell it.
Yeah.
Right.
Now here's a question that people always ask, and now that and maybe there's always been a lot of women riders, but it seems like there's a lot more women riders. They always ask, do you have your own bike?
We don't have our own bike. I have no desire to ride my own bike. Teresa?
No, I have no desire either. I think it would be very stressful
Yeah.
for them to watch us be on a bike, and I trust him and them, just so much that I'm very comfortable on the back, and I like being a
But
passenger.
you
Me
have
too,
been
I
a
love being a
rider
passenger.
on like four-wheelers and stuff. You've been the driver.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And that's different. That's 4 wheels.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah,
would think
yeah,
it'd be
yeah.
different riding a motorcycle.
And
It's
she's
just
wearing
fun
a
being the back. Being on the back.
bandana with
Who? Oh, Teresa was.
Oh, when
yeah.
we did the
With
4-wheeler.
goggles
Yeah, I
and-
just,
Yeah.
that's a lot. That's different. That's dusty, dirty. I'm not into that. I like just being on the bike and with our full face helmet and
Right.
Well, we had a question today, and I told the guy to tune in and ask the question, but he wanted to know, his wife wanted to know how you guys carry your helmets on the plane.
So we do have helmet bags, and we make use of the space inside the helmet bags. We might throw some brushes, some shoes,
extra clothing.
yeah, anything that we can
We
really
take up
stuff in there. We do.
Any
We
extra
don't need them.
space we
utilize.
make good use of.
We
yes.
utilize.
Oh,
Sometimes I
yes.
bring an extra bag, and then when I get off the plane, Lance is like, "What the heck are you doing?" I'm like, "It'll fit just a little bit more." It'll
And sometimes
fit."
we do forget that we do have to take our helmet when we arrive, take our helmet, put it on, and pack that bag somewhere. And we kind of forget where are we going to put that extra stuff we
Right,
brought.
Right.
Well, we don't forget.
Yeah, you know
I
you
know.
don't.
Well, I would say overall, you do a good job of compacting you know.
Everything. We've gotten better. I would say we've gotten better.
Yes.
And I feel like that with each trip that we go on, it's like, okay, we really have to cut down more. I think that we're good about cutting down, but even more so because when we do go to these places, I find that I'm wearing the same stuff over
Yeah.
and over. So it's
Right.
like I might pack a few things a little too many, and I think
Because
you
we
feel
like
the
to
same way
pack extra, like
Yeah.
what if, and
Right.
we don't usually use that extra, and we could always buy an extra T-shirt or an extra whatever if we needed to, which that's what we have to remember.
Right.
I don't remember that.
But
No.
that's a good point. I'll usually go, I'm going to bring a T-shirt for every day. And some days you're fine not, you can wear the next day the same T-shirt if it was like perfect weather and you're riding.
too. Right.
No big deal.
Not for me.
I gotta have a new
No,
one.
I got to have a fresh email.
Yeah.
And
That's
I
fresh
think-
underwear.
I think I have to have that too.
Yes.
But I'm not like, so I probably am a packing person that packs way too much. But it's interesting because like this last trip to South Dakota, we were able to stay 4 days in a hotel.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
And
made a
so it
big
wasn't
difference.
like we were going every day. How did you like that?
That was really nice,
It was
not
really
having
nice.
to. I feel like when we're just, it's a day-to-day thing, which is fun. I love that, changing hotels every day or whatever. But it's hard to unpack or just grab what you need out of the suitcase and then repack it that night or that next morning. It was nice to just be able to stay there and hang out.
Exactly. And then just go on our little ride
Yeah.
through the
Well, I
mountains
know
and everything.
there's some people out there that they only bring one set of everything and they
Wow.
go.
Yeah, they go.
Oh,
and then
sometimes
just
they'll
even
stop at
A laundromat
A
or something.
laundromat
Yeah,
or
and I
something.
that's
guess,
true.
yeah.
That's smart. Or even when we went to Sturgis, Teresa and I, having never been there during Sturgis, during the rally, hearing that people are off on the side of the road with just like they go there, obviously, for those of you who've gone, they go there with like no place to stay, no nothing, just kind of wherever. And I would imagine they probably don't have a lot packed. They just
Yeah.
have just their bare minimum. And wow,
And if you think about
kudos
it,
to you guys.
yeah, we could do that. You could. I see where that would be easily doable,
Uh-huh.
but I think we just like to have extra and options and
Right.
Yeah.
shoes,
Yeah.
hair
That-
dryer.
that kind of
Yes, yes.
takes
Well,
up
the
a
hair
lot.
dryer comes every
The
time.
hair dryer comes
Every
every time
time.
because you don't like the hotel hair dryer.
No.
So usually we usually get like one saddle bag.
Who, us?
And if we have to, we just drag a suitcase behind our bike.
I mean, I have one saddlebag for kind of me, which includes our
Right.
filming gear.
Right.
And then she has the saddlebag on her side plus,
But I only have the top of the saddlebag usually. I only have the top of the saddlebag. I don't have
that's
the
true,
whole
I put rain
saddle.
gear in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we usually run a 3500 that's kind of like the round, flat bottom saddleman bag. And she puts whatever.
3300 DE.
Yeah, and I'll usually put one pair of jeans extra in there and some shirts, but she puts her stuff in. If there's any room left, I will. I kind of use the tour pack and one saddlebag slide-in bag.
And that's for a long trip. Those are for our long trips when we go on them.
But what's
So-
the one must in the saddlebag? The one must.
For me,
Yes.
my blow dryer.
Yeah.
Blow dryer and
My
brushes.
blow dryer.
Brushes.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's usually 3 brushes.
It is.
Well,
So.
she usually carries 3, but I managed to blow one up this last trip.
He squishes them in there. And
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh, that's so
I was in trouble. What's the one must have when we're riding up the coast and we go by El Capitan?
A mimosa.
Oh,
We don't bring
yes.
that with us. We ride to it.
Yes. And we stop and we have a bottle of champagne and a carton of orange juice. And
Galen
we,
bartends for us.
Yes.
Yes.
He bartends, and Teresa
He's a
and I
heavy
drink
pourer.
that,
Yes.
and we are ready to sleep on the
Yeah,
way.
that's right.
Yeah, when you get a kind of Morse code on your helmet in the front, tap, 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 tap. It's like, maybe they're asleep.
Well,
We like that ride.
I mean, one good thing too is for me, when you're on the back of the bike, I don't really even know you're there
That's
because
a
you
good thing.
flow with the corners. You don't fight anything. You're just right there doing it. Every once in a while, the helmet tap, but
Yes.
you know,
I
What
it's
do you
probably
think, hon? Do you agree with that?
No. No, I think both of you. I mean, I haven't had Laura on the back of the bike, but I would assume similarly. I watch, and you guys, over the last couple of years, it's just natural. I think. I mean, there's times, like, if we're going too fast, then certainly we know
There's
about it.
the leg
Yes.
squeeze. That's the leg squeeze for the
Definitely,
speed.
you're going too
More the
fast.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
The punch, I've only done it a couple times when
Right.
you are not responding to the leg squeeze.
Gotcha.
a couple times a trip, or
No, couple, just no.
Usually a couple times a day, I think. I'll speed past Galen and I'll see a little punch to the gut, you know.
and Josh usually rolls up, and he always has to screw around with Teresa.
I get a nice rise out of it.
Yes, she does. He says,
He'll go by and tap her on the shoulder.
yeah, totally
and-
freak me out.
Wake her up.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've had any of that in the videos. Probably not, because
Because I'm the one
I'd have to
That's
be
right.
capturing
filming it.
that
Right,
footage
right.
of him
So-
messing with Teresa.
We got a couple questions.
Yep, let's do it.
First off, we got Riding with Yogurt, aka Shannon. He's tuning in with Reese to go. Reese, his
Hi,
wife, to
Shannon,
say
Reese.
hello.
Hey, Reese.
Hi, Reese.
What
No,
else?
no.
Question more for Lance. Jonathan Castro says, Big Lance, curious, what bag do you run on top of your tour pack? Currently shopping for one.
It's a great bag, and I love it because it fits perfect. It's easy on, easy off with a couple straps. It is the what part number?
The 13,
It's
the
a tactical
1300?
3300.
No, 1300, I
No,
think, right?
3300.
3300.
Trust
Huh.
me on this.
Tactical
me.
3300
Yes. DE.
DE.
Look that up on Drag if you want.
Well, you
I
can-
don't know that those are in stock right now. I know the BR 4200s are out of stock until tomorrow. The 3500's in and the 3400 are in.
So that one's the huge one that Lance rocked on this
Yeah.
recent trip. But sometimes you have the small one. That's a
Yeah, but-
1300, right?
That's a 1300,
Yeah,
but that's
so-
a small roll.
So 1300 is like a small roll.
That's
The
what you put
33
on
is
your
like
bike.
So
Yep.
the one that I use with my bike, when I use it even if I go solo, but when Laura's with me, that's a must. It definitely holds a lot of clothes if you pack it right, and it's like I say, easy on, easy off.
right on. And then let's see, a question for the wives. What's the recommended stuff a woman needs to pack for a trip? I'll leave the quotation up to interpretation.
Okay.
I would say hygiene.
Most definitely. That's a good one, Galen. What? We usually pack a couple pairs of jeans.
Long
couple-
sleeve, short sleeve, depending, I guess, where we're going in time of year.
Right.
Chonies.
Yeah, well, obviously, underwear, the
Scarves.
the
We love our-
yeah
we pack our
scarves.
scarf.
I feel in the saddlebags, the easy get to that we like to have there is the scarves and like a layered, like either a
Light
what do you
jacket.
call it?
you
A
mean?
light jacket or a
Rain jacket.
what do you call the
vest. No,
the
a vest.
plaid.
Oh, flannel.
A flannel.
Thank
Flannel,
you.
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, thank
Yes.
you. Just to throw on if we need to layer or whatever.
Yeah.
And then us, it's just the blow dryer. That's a must, and the
Must for us and
brushes.
our brushes. And if we're going in cold weather, we also like to have our hand warmers. So we get hand warmers.
Oh,
and
that's
Teresa
a
and I use
must.
those.
Yes, that
And
is
gloves.
a definite
Those,
must.
and well, obviously our gloves, yeah. And we take a couple of different gloves. So we'll take,
We can change them out.
yeah,
Um,
gauntlets, lighter ones if it's warmer weather, and we put them in. I think we've said this before. We put them in our bags so that they're easily accessible.
yes, so we can.
Yeah.
If we just pull over to the side, we can just grab quickly
Yeah.
and not have to dig
So
through the big bags.
So say that again. So you take a gauntlet that's going going to be a little bit more for cold, right?
Uh-huh.
You do a kind of a mid-range glove, maybe a
Right,
leather,
right.
Right.
and then you do
And then
a
a light
lighter
glove.
glove.
So we bring about 2 or 3 gloves usually.
Because you just never know.
Right.
We hit so many different temperatures along the way sometimes.
And I think
Yeah.
the scarf is important because you guys always have either a full neck or the wrap.
Something. Even with our full faces and our jackets, there's that little crevice right here that just the air hits you.
And
How many
we
pairs
do.
of
So we
shoes?
love the.
Yeah, what
How
about
many
your
pairs
shoes?
of shoes?
Well, we wear our boots, and then we bring usually like a pair of Converse
Or
tennis
tennis
shoes and
shoes.
maybe a pair of flip flops.
Uh-huh.
Right
And
on.
maybe a pair of flats
It
because
depends.
they're flat.
Yeah.
When we
Yes.
were in Deadwood, we did bring some little booties
Yes.
because we just
Now, you
did.
both are really never on a bike unless you're wearing a leather jacket.
Always. I won't ride. Teresa, I think you are saying, but I won't ride even if it's 100 out, 105. I have a light leather jacket on. I just always wear a leather jacket. I always have my jeans. I won't ride in something like this. That's just
we
how I
did
am.
one time.
One time.
There
With
is
the
one. I just
sleeves.
watched that drop.
Uh-huh.
Because it was just ugly in Laughlin. Remember we were
Oh.
riding into Laughlin?
It was 120 degrees.
It was horrible, and we
Yeah.
did peel off the leather jackets.
And even then, we were like, oh.
a little nervous. We had sleeves on or something, but I just feel safer, even though it's hot, with the leather.
Yeah.
But you both have a light leather jacket and a heavier leather jacket.
Yes.
We do.
But you have 2 new ones that,
We did
that
get
just
some
came
new
in from
ones.
Harley Davidson. This is kind of a heavy one that Laura has here,
Where's your mic?
Oh.
but it's very cool because it has 3 different spots of ventilation. The zippers.
Yeah.
Ah,
There's his
can't you
mic.
hear me? So 3 different spots of ventilation and zippers all through this jacket.
It's a nice jacket. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool. And my other heavy leather jacket I got when we first got a bike 12, 13 years ago. So it was about time for a new heavy leather jacket. And Teresa got a
And
cool
I
jacket
got
here.
this one because in
Mike.
the summertime, Laura will often wear a lighter color, and I didn't have one, and so I wanted to get one. And this one doesn't have a lot of ventilation, but it does have the top. You can zip from the top or ventilate from zipping. Well, I don't have mine, but it goes up this way.
So-
It looks like they've cut in ventilation through
and
the
a little
jacket itself.
like
In the back.
yeah,
Yeah.
aerating holes there
So
and stuff.
interesting to see how that's going to run. And these are both part of the new Harley Davidson women's line.
Yeah.
Would like to thank Harley for supporting us
Yes,
with this.
thank you.
Thank you.
But they've got. I really like the styles of both.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you go out there and look at these, I can't wait to see you in this and how that rocks, and I can't wait to see you in your new jacket.
Well, I go to HarleyDavidson.com and check out the women's line of clothing, and then you'll probably see some stuff that you might like, might help you pack. But yeah, leather is always safe.
And Teresa had her leather coat the same way, and last year for her birthday we got her a heavier, newer jacket.
Mm-hmm.
But I love, even you guys will still rock, because those jackets are still good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're totally
But
good. Yeah.
The way they've worn in, and
Right.
there's nothing like a good leather
Right.
jacket.
And I got the newer black jacket last year, but I love it, but I was also still loving my old jacket.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and it's still in great condition, and I can use that one too.
Well, leather's awesome, but now you have
Now
a
we have
little
another
variety.
one to pick from. And as far as shoes, I have a pair of boots that I bought when we bought our first motorcycle, and
That was a long time
a long
ago.
time ago, and I still wear those. And
But
so,
you were wearing some,
Tennis
what
shoes,
did
they're-
you have on during the Deadwood ride?
So I wore their Harley Davidson tennis shoe like, but they're really structured for riding, and they're great, and I love them. But I still go back to my old boots they're Harleys also, but I still love those and tend to wear those more often. So
Yeah.
And what do you wear?
I wear boots as well. It's my second pair of boots. My first pair, they're still good, but they're a little shorter, and I like these. They're a little taller, and I just,
Taller in which way?
in height.
The calf or the
Yes, they come
heel?
up a little, come up in height on my calf. And I like those as well.
yeah.
You got something there, Josh?
I was just going to say we did have 2 back-to-back questions that they kind of answered. One was, I'm looking for it because it's way up there now. Do the ladies get cold in the wind? Nope, you got the leather jackets. But, I mean, yeah, you get cold sometimes, but layers, leather jackets.
And rain gear. We
gloves.
put the rain gear on top.
Yep.
That
And then
helps.
2, do they ride in 100+ degree weather? Sure do.
Yep.
They've ridden in.
And he was asking about engine heat, if you feel that.
Well, let the
If they feel what?
If you feel,
The
the
engine
engine
the
heat
heat
at all.
from the
I
engine or
don't-
the exhaust or
I don't-
anything.
If we do, I don't know that that's
Yeah,
what
I
it's
don't
coming
notice it,
from.
right.
I mean, I just feel it's from the outside temperature
Yep.
all
Right.
around us. But it's not fun to ride in the heat. I don't think
No.
anyone thinks it is, but we can do it, and we just can't wait to get to our
next stop.
destination or a stop and drink some Gatorade and water, hydrate and such. But
Yeah.
So
What's
cold
the
or
worst-
hot?
What's,
Which one do you like better?
oh,
Oh, I know. I would guess I would say cold. Cold.
yeah,
Cold.
I'm more cold too.
Yeah.
It's not fun layering up like that, trying to get warm, but hot, there's nothing you can do.
And
You
you're
can't.
sweating
Right.
with your full face and
Unzip
your
your
leather jacket.
jacket,
And again, we
that's
wear
it.
the leather, so it's
Yeah.
like, that's really hot.
what conditions do you not like to ride in?
Oh, I think we have the same thing.
Wind.
We are not wind riders.
No.
We have done pretty, 60-mile-per-hour gusts
Gusts
of wind,
and-
and
yeah.
that was definitely, Not
That's
fun.
really scary.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
scary.
when you can feel the bike move.
and you're leaning over, and you're
Yeah,
like, oh my gosh,
I don't
there's
like
nowhere
that.
to go, and there's nowhere to stop, and here comes a big diesel.
Yeah.
You
So,
can feel us leaning?
I can feel you sometimes fighting with the bike a little bit, but that's when it's really bad, and that's when I probably get a little nervous. But I try to like just breathe through it. No,
Yeah.
you guys have got it, and
Right.
but yeah,
How did you like the slush coming into Deadwood?
that was okay. We've been through that
Yeah.
before, but I will say I think our first trip ever, long distance trip, was the first time we hit snow and stuff like that. So and I didn't have a full face helmet.
Right. That was our first ride.
Yes, and that
you had
was
a 3/4.
and I had my scarf was just trying to be tucked up, and then it was not fun.
Yeah.
But it's not so bad. I'm glad it's not a long distance that we're riding
Right.
through that stuff. But when you've got Josh with you, and Josh is flying by you, and I'm like, okay, don't keep up with Josh. Do not keep up with Josh.
Our young gun here.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to get in front to get some shots,
You
get
gotta get
behind the
shots.
other shots. It's just
And he's
part
still
of the
getting the shots
production.
with all that going on.
But you said that you had a 3/4. It wasn't fun, but was the trip fun?
Oh, the trip was amazing. The trip was really, really good. It
So
was
that's just part of the journey,
It
right?
is. It's so that part wasn't fun, and I would say we were inexperienced. I was inexperienced at that point. So you learn, I kind of think, with each trip. Although I don't know, I shouldn't say that we don't have anything to learn. There's always something to learn, to do different and prepare better.
Right.
But that was a learning experience for sure.
Well, and just to let you know that trip, this was before 2LaneLIVE started, and Teresa and Galen showed up with a little teeny, a backpack.
A backpack.
A
size.
backpack.
Yeah.
That's it, right? And you
Uh-huh.
didn't
By
have
And the
Harley-Davidson.
saddlebags.
and the saddlebags. A backpack and saddlebags
For a
for a
week.
week trip, and we had our suitcase on the back, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you fit everything in there.
And I was like, he told me I have to minimize. And after that trip, I was like, I'm not minimizing anymore.
Didn't you buy a
we
bag
bought
on that?
Yes.
I bought a Saddleman saddlebag at Kingman
In
Harley
Arizona,
Davidson.
yeah.
And then the wind cover blew off.
Well, that was after Victorville. That was the bike cover
Oh.
that I bought at Victorville. The
Oh,
stuff in the middle, and
Yeah.
it blew out.
So
It
we
was a
do
great
have
trip.
a pretty good idea from Iahog Riders saying maybe the wives could put together a women's packing checklist. So my wife has some guidance. So maybe put that together, put it on the blog section of the website.
Yeah,
see.
that'd be
Yeah.
cool.
Good idea. Good idea.
Really
So,
good idea.
what if there's people out there watching that are listening
Mm-hmm.
that might want to know how they can get their wife to make that step to get on a bike because she's kind of wanted to but hasn't done it? What would you
I
tell
think
that
that-
wife?
That would be Teresa, because honestly, I mean, I was kind of like into riding. Not that I was into riding, but I'm like, okay, I'll ride. But you, I think, were a lot more hesitant.
I was
so
very
You
hesitant.
are an amazing where you are now as to what
I've
you
come
were
a
in the
long
beginning.
way is
Yes,
what you're trying to say.
exactly. So you would be a good one to
Well,
explain
I
that.
just, I think I've probably stated this before. He got the bike. He wanted me to ride. I basically said, I'm not getting on the bike. I don't, it's
But what
scary.
did I buy you?
You bought me a jacket, and you came home with a leather jacket and a helmet, and you're like, this is for you when you're ready. And I'm like, okay, just put it in the closet. But I would try it on periodically, and I think what pushed me to get on the bike was he was still riding. He would just go and take off for the day. Oops, sorry, Josh. And I was like, okay, well, I want to be with him, so I will get on the bike. And we went for a short trip to the beach, and it was a lot of fun. I was nervous, and I will say there was one time where we had come around this corner on the canyon, and traffic had just slammed to a stop, and it was a blind corner, and we hit the brakes and maybe fishtailed just a tiny bit, and but he handled it perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like I wasn't.
I did that on purpose.
I wasn't okay. I wasn't freaked out or anything, which I was very surprised.
Yeah.
So basically, buy your
them
ladies
gear.
some
Buy them
cute
gear.
gear.
Pretty
And you'll be
Well,
good.
that could
Yeah.
work too, but
But just to put a finer point on that, so then our kids left.
They were in
They were in
college.
college at the same time together. So now it becomes this empty nester, and how do you reconnect because you've spent so much time, as we all know as parents, focused on the kids, not focused on the relationship as much. And so it was fun because she finally was able to ride and enjoyed it. And then it was like, okay, I'd call her on a Friday night and say,
Yeah.
pack a bag, that little teeny bag, and let's just go somewhere. We don't know where we're
Yeah,
going to go.
and that was part of the fun. We would just go for somewhere, end up somewhere, and then look for a hotel.
So I think the other piece of that is, trying to get, your wife or your girlfriend on is like you got to just kind of take it in baby steps and then make it fun, make it a destination. And so that's just carried into when we started riding together.
Right.
when was
Let's
our
go to
first ride?
We went to breakfast in like 10 years ago.
And what bikes were we on?
You were on your Street Glide. I was on a Road King.
So I wasn't on my Road King?
No.
So I was on the Black
You were on
Street
the
Glide.
the first Black Street Glide, and you went with. We had Tom and Ann with us,
Our other friends.
and then you never called back.
And they thought we didn't want to ride with them again.
Well, they didn't.
It was like, no, we thought, well, they didn't call us.
And we were like, they're not
Whatever.
calling
We're
us.
waiting for each other to call each other.
So then we, I don't know what happened, but we ended up going on a ride again, and then you and I just started, like,
Yeah.
So
Well,
when
yeah.
did we go to the Grand Canyon for our first trip?
well, that was with Mike and Stacy, and that was probably
That was our
6 months
first
into
big
us
ride,
riding.
big
Yeah.
trip.
So 6 months into it, all of a sudden we make a map, and we're like,
You made the map
Yeah,
because
you
you'd
did.
been there before.
so we're like, okay, we're gonna go to Kingman,
right,
which
long ride.
we can go to Kingman
Oh,
and back 3 times in a
Right.
day now. But that was our first day to Kingman, then the Grand Canyon. But it was all planned out. That was a great trip, though.
Well, and the funny thing is that, and you guys can speak to this a little bit. We go to Kingman. We were doing all the stuff we needed for me to get bags and different things, and by the time we start rolling into Williams, it's raining and starting to snow.
Right.
That was
So
that
we
trip
pull
you're
into the
talking
carport. We're freezing.
Wait, didn't it do that at the Grand Canyon Caverns? We had trash bags on our feet.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
so
That
we
was
had
the
weather,
same.
but
Yes.
then
Yes.
it cleared out, and then we were going, and then all of a sudden it started again about 40 miles outside, and my hands were getting cold. We were not prepared at all.
No. that-
But we pull into the Best Western there that's at the top of the town that Laura had found for all of us. And lo and behold, we walk through the doors and there's a fireplace.
Yes.
Mm.
And then there was
Big
there was a
fireplace.
bar there, and there was a
A
steakhouse.
sing, and there
it
was a
just,
singer.
And Omar.
Omar
was
was
there.
there.
It was like the
But that,
best away. It was the best.
yeah, and that's interesting for them. It's like that was our first big trip, and we didn't know what to pack and bring, and we kind of had stuff and trash bags we had to find for our feet. But we learned on that trip a lot. But we're pretty proficient at it now.
Yeah.
But the first few trips, maybe the first 5-10 trips, we had to learn.
we had to learn. I mean, there's a trip with you and I that we went down and went into Phoenix, and it was whatever. We saw Pat Tillman's thing.
Yep, yep.
Then we went down to Tombstone, Bisbee, and came back up, and we were in
Ice,
we were
snow,
in
and
snow and ice, and I'm in a brain bucket, and we've got I've got a beanie on. You've got a thing wrapped around.
Right.
I mean,
icicles hanging off the roof of the bit. Yeah.
and you're off your mustache. I
Yeah.
mean, it was
So
very cool.
we
So
learned
we got
a lot.
got a couple questions. First off, Ju Yang says, met these cats at the Grand in Deadwood, had a conversation at the bar, and they seem legit. I don't know about if you're legit, but good guys to pass an hour with. Was that
Fantastic.
when I was editing or something, or
No, and if
Or
you
was
were
I
in
just
Deadwood, you
hammered?
were probably walking around filming or something.
this is true?
No, they were at the Grand Resort. So
Oh,
yeah, we were talking to them down in the bar.
Yep. We met the Gold
yes.
Wing touring guys.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
them.
I don't think. Who knows? But you know. Anyway, we had some other questions that kind of go together. First one was, do you ladies have any touring playlists that you like to listen to? What's your favorite jams?
Well, I would say that I like to look at lots of different things. 80s for sure, and don't kill me, but the Bee Gees. And
That's
They're
a great
great.
one. I
but
think
yeah,
that's a good one.
but Laura and I have talked about recently that lately we don't even play any music. It's just nice to just have it quiet in your
Quiet.
head and just look at everything, smell everything. I probably do not play much music anymore. It's just
Right.
nice to
Recently,
write.
we've just kind of like not
Yeah.
listened to music. We're just kind of enjoying the surroundings.
Mhm.
And
Let me ask you this, though, because I think on the last trip I saw you listening to your audiobook. Is that synchronized? Are you on the same chapter?
we're not on the same chapter. In fact, when we stop, we're like, okay, what chapter are you on?
Yeah.
What chapter are you
Yeah.
on? So we
Yeah.
belong to a book club together. And so we will have our books on audio, on tape, and we listen to that. So
And
we do
then
listen
to
that
follow
sometimes.
up with that,
Yeah.
we have a question from Busted Nux says, did you always run headsets, or how much do headsets improve or worsen the ride for the women?
You go ahead, Laura.
You know, we didn't at
No.
first, and I didn't want it at first because I'm like,
Right, I was the same.
I don't want to talk. So I shouldn't say this. I don't want to not talk to him, but I enjoy the quietness, just like what Teresa was saying. So Teresa and I are not hooked up to the guys, so we don't hear what they're talking about. We can tell they're talking the whole time.
Yes,
That's for
with
sure.
all the hand gestures and
Yeah, we know
everything.
that they're talking all the time, but we don't even talk while we're riding. Sometimes we might call each other and say something, but
Yeah.
otherwise we're just enjoying the
Yeah.
surroundings
That's
and maybe
part of-
listening to our music. I'll listen to country. I like
Sometimes,
country.
yeah, and then
So-
that's part of just the enjoyment of being on the back of the bike. I think is
Yeah.
just it's just peaceful and serenity, and you're in your own thoughts.
Right. And when you said about Bee Gees, if you do see us, doing this sometimes, we've got
That's
the
a
Bee Gees
cue.
playlist on.
So speaking of listening to stuff, someone actually had said music or podcasts are a great to kill time as well. After these lives are recorded here, they're uploaded on Spotify. So if you guys search 2Lane Life Highwaymen, not only will the podcast pop up, but you'll also get the playlist that the three of us have kind of put together over time, always adding to it. So keep an eye out for that.
I'd also say we don't kill time.
No.
I mean, and we had one of our buddies ask us, we'll throw him under the bus a little bit, do you really like to ride that distance riding? And we do. And I don't think, unless it's a really long stretch where, and it's not very pretty, where it just like, I want to get to the hotel. I haven't had one of those days for a long time. I think even with the filming that we do and the time that it takes, we don't kill time. It's like we're time machines.
Right, right. Well, we've been out on I-40. The hardest part is getting out of California, whether you're on the 15 or the 40 or, if you go up north. But we've been there on the golden hour and the right times when that is such a different scene and so beautiful to look at.
Yeah.
But like I say, our time is so enjoyable on the bikes.
I mean, we've only been running comms for about a year.
Right.
Maybe
and
a year and a half.
And I was
going to
say, we used to ride and communicate with them and us just with hand signals and
gestures.
movements.
Hand
and-
gestures.
And Laura and I did not believe that the two of them could communicate with the hand gestures because they would be gesturing to each other. I'm like, what the heck does that mean? You didn't really know what he was talking about.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, yes, I did.
They
Well,
really
we-
did. They had their own language.
Yeah.
You spoke your own language.
We just did a shoot with Rockford, and
we
we
had
didn't
to-
have our comms on, and we were asked, what does this mean? What is this? And we were like, we need him to come up. I need to come up. We're talking to each other, and they couldn't believe that.
I mean, there's a lot of times, even since we've had the comms, that's developed.
Yeah.
So if I'm filming you two third person while you're having a conversation, I don't want to say something and break it up. So I'll kick my foot out, say, hey, pass me, get in front of me.
Right.
Or someone's on the phone, or this and that, or get over, you know.
But to answer his question, comms are awesome to have. They're a great safety feature. We've saved each other's asses with the comms.
Definitely.
So it's not a distraction. It's not a bummer. And there has been times when we actually have said, let's go silent for a little while and you listen to your music, I'll listen, and we all kind of do our own thing. But like it says, Gail and Josh and I are connected. Laura and Teresa are doing their own thing, and we're not really connected together, even though now we have the new Pack Talk Edge.
I'm loving that.
So we all have those now. So maybe there'll
No,
be some,
we're not going to do that.
let
Are we,
Teresa and
could
Laura
we
talk.
be connected
Yeah.
on that?
You could have been connected on the other one.
Yeah, no.
We
Yeah,
could do
we're
it
good.
for
Yeah,
like
no.
a few miles.
No, we don't.
But what's
need
good
that.
about
We're good
those is
without
like
it.
I could go on the app and make a second group
Yeah.
and start it or stop it, but you know.
But it's also sometimes nice, as you said, like, let's stop chatting,
Right.
and even getting out of the comm itself, and
Right.
just having the music come at you
Yeah.
Right.
from the bike.
Well, with
You
the
know?
Rockford system
Yeah,
that
for
we
sure.
have, you can listen to it at 90 to 100
I know.
miles an hour, and you're
That's
yeah,
what
and
I mean.
so
It's
and so
coming
can
at
I.
you.
So when you
Yeah,
when
you
you
can hear it too.
turn your music on your helmet off and I'm trying to listen to the music, I just hear your speakers at full blast through a mile away. Like, all right.
So we get asked oftentimes, what's your favorite trip? And it's hard for us to say, and I know it's probably hard for you guys, but
I bet they have one.
what do you think yours would be, Laura?
I thought mine was, I should say they're all my favorite, and I thought my favorite was when we went back east. Definitely it was my top two, I would say, top three, and going to see Niagara Falls and all that. But then when we took our trip up to Monterey with Aaron and his family, and we've done that ride before, that was my favorite.
Really?
That was my favorite.
You were bragging about Deadwood, though.
I said top three.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
Deadwood's
it's
one of my
really
favorite. They're
hard
all
to
so
choose
good,
because
but-
they're different.
right,
And I'm with you. You know, back east was
amazing.
great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one as well because never been to many of those places. So, but Niagara, that was great. Yosemite's great. Yellowstone's
Right.
great. I mean, it's hard to.
It's hard to pinpoint.
And that's
one,
interesting. And you
but-
just said Yosemite, and yeah, we've had a lot of great trips. But we went through Yosemite. We had nowhere to stay, and we happened on this.
Yes.
Course Gold, ghost haunted resort.
But it was really this cool.
Oh.
Was it a
And-
motel or was it a resort?
No,
a-
it was a resort, and
Yeah.
it's where they used to house the mentally challenged
From World War
out
II.
of
From the
World War
injured,
II,
the injured.
yeah.
But remember, we
But it
couldn't
was
find
great.
a place to stay really, and we came upon it at night,
At
and
night.
it
It
was
was
kind of
dark
in the
out,
forest.
yes.
It was like only our headlights just going through the dirt road, and it turned out
To
it
be
was
a great
A
place to
great
stay.
time. We got a bottle of whiskey, went into the
Teresa
fireplace
thought
there.
Laura was laughing, and she went over there, and no one was there.
I was like,
I wasn't
"Oh,
laughing,
Laura,"
so-
I swear. And Laura's like outside the hotel, and I swear I heard Laura laughing
So if
in
you-
the room.
If you have an open mind and when you hit the open road, like I say, we always have where we're starting from and where we're ending. But if you're willing to venture off the path, and we all are, and our group of people that we ride with, there's not one in the group that says, no, I don't want to do
Right.
that. We all flow into the, it's
Well,
pretty cool.
we were having lunch, a late lunch in Lee Vining,
Right.
and I kept seeing this road that looked like it went into Yosemite. I'm like, what the hell is that? Because I didn't know. I didn't realize there was that entrance. To
Was that the
Yosemite.
120?
I don't remember. It's something like that. And we drove up through there, and we hit it at such a spectacular time. The
Snow,
snow was
yeah.
this deep, and cruising through, and then get up on the top and be able to look at Half Dome from a different side.
Yeah.
We
And
were
then,
just coming back from the ghost town.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
that? What's
No,
the
Bodie.
Bodie.
Oh, Bodie, yeah.
Yeah.
Bodie Ghost Town.
And that
And
was such a
That was
spur of the
fun
moment.
too. And yeah, last minute we decided to go there. I had no idea what to expect, and it was very
we didn't
cool.
know either.
Yeah,
Right.
and
That was
that's
a good-
that's the fun part is going to these places that none of us have been before, or
Right.
the two of you have, and you're like, oh, we got to show them, and just not knowing what to expect, and then just coming upon it and just being, that was amazing.
So great.
We've all learned a lot. We've all seen a lot. We've all had some fun together, and it's like you want to do more because the experience is just so great.
It is so
You guys
great.
did have a good time in Deadwood, though.
Yes,
Oh my gosh, we loved
Deadwood.
Deadwood.
Yeah.
Loved Deadwood.
Yeah.
I want to go back there, and I want to go at Sturgis. I think I've said that before. I do want to go to Sturgis. Won't be going this year, but
Laura's much more wild than I am.
but I definitely want to go. Maybe
But
next
it's kind of like if we went to Sturgis at a
year. I'm
point.
going.
It's not like crazy. We could do exactly what we did and have the same vibe, just more bikes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's going to be changing and has changed for us.
Oh, yeah.
This year, we get there into town on the 4th. We'll have a day to ourselves on the 5th. Saturday the 6th, we'll be doing a autograph and meet and greet at Legend in the morning. We'll be at Clockwork at their tent over at the Black Hills Harley Davidson in the afternoon. Sunday, I think we're doing a ride with Harley from 10 to 3. And then Monday, we're at the Lozelle tent at Harley Davidson's tent there on Lozelle doing another meet and greet. So
And I got a text while we were
it's
sitting here.
changing,
Yeah.
kind of the way we do Sturgis.
Yeah, so the meet and greet at Harley on Lozelle is happening.
Yeah.
So that we'll let you all know when we're going to be there because we'd love to meet all of you.
Yeah.
You know what? And in regards to that, I think it's so cool when we get to go and we get to see some of you that recognize the guys, and you're like, you come over and you say hi, and I just think that's so fun.
What about
We
the
were in
people that
Utah.
recognize you guys?
We got recognized in the airport one day. This last trip, Teresa and I, and we were shocked.
Shocked.
It was very
Very
sweet.
shocked.
It was very, very sweet. But
Yeah.
it's fun to have people come up and say hi to you guys and that appreciate what you're doing out
Well,
there.
we
It's
appreciate
just
them,
fun.
too.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
for sure. Without them, you wouldn't be doing what
Don't
you're
say hi to us.
doing. Always say hi.
We'll fire you.
And I'll hire you back.
Question over there, amigo?
No, I was just, every time I see that at the end of the videos, I'm like, do we keep that or do it? Oh, fine. All right. I don't know.
So, what do you think, Josh,
What's that?
when you watch when the ladies are on the trips compared to when they're not on the trips?
Josh,
Be
Think about
nice.
what?
With us.
Nice.
Think about. I'll tell you what. You want to know the honest truth?
Yes. Go for it.
I get the fine treatment when you guys are on the trip. We go to the nice hotels. We go to the nice restaurants. We might the pace might not always be as chop, but that's always good. Take the helmet off at a gas station. It's a good contrast. It's more the relaxed trips where I might have more time to pack up the camera gear and load stuff up because we're all doing different things. So I dig it.
Never
I like
thought
it.
about that.
I never thought about that either.
Well, that's why
That's
we
good
can't
to
have
hear.
you on
Like
every
it.
trip. We'll never get filming done.
Oh, we do.
Let's see.
We do enjoy going when we get to go.
Yeah,
I had
it's
a funny comment from Ju Young. It's way up there. Oh, he said, my wife will not hook up her Senna to me while riding. Not sure why I bought it for her. But,
So
You
she
know.
can listen to the music.
And
You have her
make
own
phone
button.
calls.
Take phone calls.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
phone
Right.
calls.
Not that you
um,
want to take phone calls.
Yeah,
while
or if
you're
you have to
riding.
make a phone call.
we had a question from Jonathan as well, which was, I guess, for new listeners or people that haven't heard it. It said, hello, everyone. 2Lane family. We love watching. Would love to see some background segments and history about Josh. How did you guys meet? First time on a bike? How did you get into camera work?
Well, I mean, I can tell you how we met. Galen and I, we've been professional editors for several years. No, we don't know anything about editing. We had our
I keep
iPhones.
going with that. I like that. Like we decided to take a guy under our wing.
Yeah, we taught him everything he
Thank
knows. We had iPhones, and my son Lance said, "Why don't you guys
Oh,
just?"
my God. That's the loudest thing I've ever heard in my
What,
headset.
like last?
Why don't you? No, my Galen
You're
hit
good.
my arm with it.
I don't-
He said, just get a computer and do iMovie, and you and Galen can film on your phones and just make these great things. And the first video, we came back with all our stuff, and we're like, started trying to do it. We're like, no way. A guy was showing us how to do it. We said, really, no way. Went over to the Thrashing warehouse. The warehouse guy, Rob, he gave us Josh's phone number. We called him.
Well, he showed us a video
Yeah.
or a little piece that Josh had done. They were camping up the Kern.
And we liked it.
And he had a drone shot. He had some other stills. I mean, it was really cool.
So we said, hey, we called him up. He said, yeah, I do some editing. And he said, I'll come out and meet you tomorrow. He came to our office, warehouse, studio. He's been with us ever since.
So do I.
And the amazing thing is he was young, very young. He's still young, but he was 24 when we met. And he rides motorcycles.
Maybe even 23.
Yeah, he
I don't know.
films from
Yeah, I think he
motorcycles, rides motorcycles, edits. He's become part of the family.
He is definitely part of the family.
So we are.
part of the family.
Part of the family.
It's part of the family.
Oh, we love the Bandino.
So
And he provides us with a lot of entertainment.
He's
I
very-
do my
he's
best.
very
We love our
entertaining.
I do.
Josh. We
Very
love our
entertaining,
Josh.
but he fits in. He fits right in with our group. He can hang with the older folks. He can hang with the younger folks, a mix of both, and it just gets along. And it's all good.
Why don't you share a little bit about your early stages of kind of camera work, and then where you're at today and how you kind of learned some of that.
No secrets though.
Let me see. No secrets, huh?
Yeah, keep the stuff stealthy.
Let's see. So we said, how did you guys? So first time on a bike for me. Well, if you count a pocket bike, growing up, one of my buddies had those little Rice Rocket 2-strokes, so I was always riding those around the neighborhood. I didn't buy my first street bike until I was like 19, I think. I was in the sport bikes for a couple of years. Then all my buddies started riding Harleys, and eventually I rode one, and I just couldn't let it go. Let's see, what was
What about
that?
camera? How did
Camera
You
stuff.
were kind of putting yourself through college a little bit with jobs and.
Yeah, I mean, so I went to business school. I think the Lord didn't have to use that. No, but used some of it in this stuff. But yeah, I was working. I was doing some side work myself for cash. I was working at restaurants, this and that. Then one of my ex-girlfriends at the time had. We went to a music festival, and her mom bought her a GoPro, and I was like, she was like, I don't want to use it. So
Just like
I took it. Yeah, it might have sounded like that. I took it. We went to a music festival for the weekend, took some clips, had no idea what I was doing, and then just like pieced it together, figured it out on iMovie, and then posted it. People liked it. There was like some pages that reposted it. I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun. So it all kind of started from filming trips and weekends and moments with the purpose of looking back on it. And then when I'd go on trips with the guys, I want to do with my buddies, want to do the same thing. Hey, take a GoPro, film the trip. Oh, I'm missing that trip. Go watch it. And then eventually I started buying camera gear and realizing, hey, people would hit me up for gigs, and then it kind of went from there. So I've always kind of had fun with it. It's always been about the passion. So good times.
How did you learn about this stuff? So was it like you just go pick up a camera and shoot with it? Like, how did you get into
like in what? Like with a real camera or like a GoPro or?
No, everything, because you had to learn.
It was always
like aspect and.
I mean, it's all off YouTube. I completely learned off YouTube, and there's some really valuable information out there. In the beginning, it's a little harder because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what to search. It's been, let's see, I was probably 21 when I started messing around. So, just now, let's see, 4 years later, I'm just now starting to get that look that I've been going for. But just all trial and error. I mean, I didn't know a thing about frame rates for a long time. Color, audio trends, sound design, all this stuff. I mean, it's comes down to the 10,000 hour rule. You have to be doing it consistently enough and trying new things to see what works, what doesn't, what you like, what other people like, what keeps people's attention, what brings emotion, it's all about
Do a
that.
good
Well,
job, that's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, and my point by having you do this or talk about it is you very easily could have just said,
Yep.
but you dig into it, you learn it, it's
research.
something
all
that's
that.
a passion for you. I mean, you have to, Lance and I sit there sometimes and say, why is he so nitpicky, like on certain things? But I know it's your art, and you want to put something out that you will always be proud of. But that's taken a lot of time of you digging in and learning
Yeah.
about whether it's your editing skills or whether it's how you're shooting the shot or
Yep. I mean, yesterday I was getting help from Jake over at Thrashin with Adobe Illustrator, graphic design stuff. He can do something and explain it to me, and I have no idea what's going on because I don't know that program like I do Premiere for video editing. But just like him, it took me 5 years to learn how to do something in 5 minutes when it used to take me hours or days. So it's just, you got to love it. You got to want to be always learning. And luckily with this, with technology being half of the equation, it's never going to stop progressing. So you're always going to be learning new things. There's always going to be new options. Always a good time.
I have a question.
Yes.
Honest opinion, what did you first think of these two when
good
you
question.
very first met them and started working for
He
them?
loved us right away.
My
And you better
first,
be honest, because if not, you're fired.
yeah. So my first impression before I even knew them, before I even talked to them, Rob, who I knew fairly well, we would go riding, spend Sundays, go cruising around, but I wouldn't like hit him up on a weekday, hey, let's get a beer, at that point. Ended up living with the kid for a while, but he called me and he's like, hey, one of my buddy's dads needs an editor. I'm like, all right, I'm always, I was injured at the time, just getting out of a moto crash from the track, and I'm like, I'll take anything I can get. And then I'm like, we get to talking. I'm like, what did you film it on? It's like some iPhone and some GoPros. I'm like, what am I getting myself into? But I'll take it. So that was kind of the first. I'm like, I didn't know about really thrashing. I didn't know, a lot of my buddies' older brothers were in Lance's circle, and so I knew the name and this and that, but I was like, I don't know. And then
Lance's circle,
Junior circle.
Junior circle.
And then once I came in, I'm like, all right, we get along. This is cool. We got something going on. And obviously, even to this date, everyone's taking a risk. But at the beginning, it was, for all of us to commit to this, it's taking a risk. But when I see how you work and you see how I work, and the three of us, it just works out. I don't have a doubt in my mind.
Well, I'll tell you this too. It's a commitment. The three of us have, and the 2LaneWIVES, Laura and Teresa. Everyone's really committed, sacrificed, and done everything. We put everything into it. We put all. Cheers. We put all into it to bring the world that we ride in into your living room.
I think
Indeed.
our families are committed to it.
Yeah.
And we've had to win over the Sidens. Because you think about this guy's going to business school, his brother's an engineer, his father's an engineer.
I'm like the first in 9 generations to not be an
that's
engineer.
Not an engineer, and yet he comes out of school and it's more of a creative thing,
Yeah.
and so he has the business sense behind it,
Yep.
but the creative side is there,
It's really there.
Yeah, and I think that the plans that we have for this brand, and I think his mom even comments more on our
Yeah.
stuff, but the plans we have for this brand is are incredible, and I don't have a doubt that we're going to hit those marks. We have some really cool things coming up in terms of our own apparel, in terms of Eagle Rider. There's a lot of really cool things in the
Gloves.
irons in the fire, and that's just this year.
Yeah.
And it's going to continue to progress, and so we're going to make your parents proud of you.
Well,
Good man,
they are
good
Proud
man.
of you, but we're going to make them
The
more
real
proud.
cool thing, and I've always been a firm believer of it, is if you're passionate and love what you do, whether you're an engineer, whether you're a firefighter, whether you're a sign painter, whether you're an editor, whatever you do, I used to love mowing my lawn, and I was passionate about it, and I felt good about it. So anything you do that you're passionate about, love, you're going to do good, and you're going to be successful.
Well, I just want to caveat that with Laura fired him and said she needs a gardener.
Oh.
So he's passionate about it.
I was
but-
thinking about that too. But wait, you loved it, but Laura fired you.
No, but she said because you work and you don't have to do it.
He wasn't every Friday.
She tricked you
But I
into
would've
it.
Every
showed-
Saturday, I was
I showed
like,
up on
wait,
the
you
Saturday.
didn't come this week. You
And a
did not
quick-
come and
I
mow the
just-
yard this
I
week.
just
It was
wish-
like,
It's just
You
like
hear
that.
what he says? He's like, but I showed up Saturday.
No, I did my yard better than
he did a great job.
But
he did a great job, but he couldn't
it's just
commit
like
to
that
every
meme.
week.
It's just like that meme out there. This guy mows his lawn. He went in to get paid from the lady, and she said, "No, you're my husband. I'm not paying you."
But I just want to say, with Josh, I have seen, at least I think,
Yeah.
you enjoy what you do. I mean,
Oh,
and you have a good time
Yeah.
doing it, and we
I mean,
all.
One of the coolest things right now is, when I started editing, it was just an event or something, and some of the ride stuff, although we're off the cuff and we do talk, it wasn't as much of like a dialogue of telling a story. So now that we're doing like interview stuff and we're teaching and sharing history and people's stories, I mean, any good story has a person behind it.
Yeah.
So our regular videos, these two great dudes, and some of the newer videos, there's external stories coming in. It's like I'm working on timelines right now that would have taken me a fucking year, for lack of a better word, before. And it's
Sorry.
going through these interviews forever, chopping it up, telling the story out of that. And I probably would have just blown my brains out, not bored, but frustrated before. And now that I've learned it and like that storytelling, I dig it. So
Well, the thing that helps
Yeah,
that
you're
is
so
the
good at
fact
that.
that you know Galen and my personalities. You know
Yep.
what we talk, and you're in that history when we're sharing something about a hotel in Deadwood. So when you come back to your desk and you're sitting there, you know the vibe, and you actually put your twist on
Yes.
what we just did.
I think
For
that's
sure.
important, but I think there's something that's even probably more important than that, and it's people that have supported us through our store, allowed us to buy, and we're not sponsored by Apple, but Apple, if you want to jump in, what did you get a month or so ago?
let's see, the water cup is covering that. We got the, let's see if I can focus on that. The Mac Studio, absolute beast. I was like, I don't know if it's actually better or not. And then we got the new camera, Sony A7S III, and there's some, can shoot in 10-bit, and there's just higher data rates for the footage. I tried to edit that on my laptop, and I can't even do it. It doesn't work. So this thing is a beast. Apple, please sponsor us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have 2 Sonys, we have an Apple, we have 10 GoPros, 2 drones. We've
Yeah.
turned into this.
Well, but that's where I was going to head with it. He's gone from just filming us on bikes,
Right.
or all of us filming and editing to now, he's had to pull in a different mindset around these interviews.
Yeah.
And make them feel like you're right there with people. And so it's just another level of editing.
Right.
And, for what we started 6 months ago, putting 2LaneLIVE Productions at the end, because
Right.
it really has become that. And even to the comms, where it's like, move through, tap Teresa, have her wave her arm, tap Laura, and not that you don't do that for real, you do, but sometimes we want to capture that.
So Ju Yang just said, we rode behind y'all going to Rushmore and watched Josh filming.
Ah.
The DCT wing could definitely make it easier for Josh to one-hand that camera. So it was the guys in the gold wing. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, automatic. I mean, I'm working on getting a Recluse clutch. That's more for low-speed stuff, but hey, you never know. And also, quick shout-out to local Melissa V. She tuned in. I guess she
All
said,
right.
hey, guys, miss you on Instagram. I have to remember to get on YouTube. Also, when you taking the wives to the rally, when's it going on? Local Melissa.
Aw.
And we
Well,
got a ton of comments
back
that
to the
I'm...
Gold Wings. I mean, these guys actually have these really incredible campers,
Yeah.
and they'll take off, and they'll spend 2 weeks riding around everything, and they're on Gold Wings. And we've said to people like them and others, we don't care what you ride, as long as you're out enjoying the elements and having a great time. Even if you're in your
I'm a
car.
Gold Wing fan.
Yeah, we had a guy say, hey, you need to try those, and at some point we probably will.
Yeah. I have to say one thing, when we were riding the trike, and how you guys say that now we are on the motorcycles and we're just so one with you. I felt like when I was on the trike, I wasn't one with you. It was a totally different ride, and I had to hold on and really hold on when we were leaning. So
Well, it's a
that was a
different
different, that was a different experience,
Oh,
and
you
I
were even
didn't feel one.
further away from him, right?
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
further away. You couldn't get real close, or at least
Uh-huh.
I didn't feel like that was a comfortable position for me. But that was an experience riding that. changing the subject. Sorry, didn't mean to do
No,
that, but
that's- yeah.
I was just thinking about that. But
So it's 5:08, so we probably need to, because you have to leave, right? And you need to get back to your mom. Teresa watches her mom a couple days a week, and they rotate with their sisters. Laura is great with her mom. She flies out to Vegas, but Laura also has bowling and some things to do. But maybe we just end on a note. What's the worst thing about riding? Can you find one?
Yes, occasionally the sore butt, the occasional sore butt. I don't think we have it all the time, but I do remember when we had that over 600-mile ride because we had to turn around. It was, I could almost not lift my leg
right.
over the bike. It was, that's the worst thing riding.
That
for
was a 12-hour day, 680 miles.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
put in a lot of miles that day for
Yeah,
sure,
I
and
was
that was
never so
definitely
happy to
tough.
see that hotel.
Right. I would say the worst thing about riding for me is, excuse me, that last day coming home, and now you're getting close to home.
That's a
And
good
again,
one.
your bottom is just like, okay,
Oh,
I'm
you
ready
can't
to get
you can't
home.
lift
You just-
yourself
yeah.
up enough times. Like
It's the best when you're going out and the ride is wonderful, but it's that last half of a day home.
Hey, but you
Well,
could be
I-
sitting on a couch, and after 8 hours, your body's going to get sore.
No, I'm wiping my brow because I gave you guys a layup and you just completely.
The wind?
missed
Were
it?
you going to say the wind?
No,
No.
like
the speed.
how
the speed,
fast we
the
go.
Speed.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, but
So
that's
now
the,
we've got the
no.
green light.
The bad
Josh,
thing-
we're doing 105.
No,
I'm
the
down.
bad thing is I think we're kind of like used
Numb
to it,
to
and
it,
we
yes.
don't even pay attention anymore
Right.
to the speed.
Well, when we were coming out of the redwoods up in Northern California after Alice's,
Didn't
you
like
guys
that.
got a little bit bummed there. But like when we were doing that same speed, going to Deadwood across the Wyoming plains, and there weren't a lot of cars around.
It was straight.
It was straight.
Next to a guardrail.
There wasn't. You guys were okay with that?
Oh, but wait, so going to Deadwood, were we going, are you saying up the hill, or were
No,
we just going
when we
straight
were
on
out on
straight?
the plains because
So-
we were doing 90 miles
Right,
an hour.
we
so.
were going fast then.
But that's
when
like
we
an
were,
average speed.
speed, right. But we were coming down the hill on the other ride. We were
Right, the
coming
other
down a
ride we were
hill,
doing
it
that
was
one-
raining.
and I kept thinking
It was, and I kept squeezing my legs. I'm like, oh, this is just too
We ha-
fast for me.
We have a button on our bike that when they get on the bikes, you push it, and if
The
you're going
ejector
100, it really goes to 80.
Oh.
Right.
Lance was
I like
probably
that
telling the
button.
guys, okay, Laura's really having a hard time going faster, slow down.
Oh, he's worse than that.
No.
So
So
no, we get it. I mean, sometimes I don't, but I have to remember.
So we have to. So what would you give any woman out there advice of if they haven't gotten on a bike with their man or their friend or their partner, whoever it is? What would you say to them? Like why it's worth getting on?
I would say give it a try.
Yes.
Give it a try. Maybe you won't like it.
Yeah, because it's not for everybody.
No, it's not for everybody. And we know some people that have tried it and it wasn't for them.
Right.
Thankfully, it was for you. And
Hence,
I was
we don't
so,
hang out with them anymore.
So glad that it was for Teresa. And I just have to throw this in there really quick because we went riding one of the first few rides, and I know I've told you this before. And she wasn't really into riding that much, but she'd gotten more into it. And we had gone on a ride up north, maybe by, I don't know, Santa Barbara, a little bit past Santa Barbara. And we stopped at a gas station, and Lance was like, oh, do you guys want to go here to go eat or whatever? And it was going to make the night longer and this and that. She was like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, she's into this. She likes this. I told Lance, I'm like, oh my God, she wants to go. She's like me. She'll ride. Okay, this is gonna be fun. And I just remember that
Yeah.
always. So, I would say just get on the bike one time, see if you
Yeah.
like it.
You do-
Hopefully,
Go ahead.
I would say hopefully your man doesn't go crazy and go fast. If he just takes it slow, go slow, guys. Don't go crazy around
Or
the
your
curves.
woman.
Or your woman,
or your
that's right.
woman, whoever's riding you, whoever you're on the back of that bike with, just make sure to ease them into it easily. And I bet you might get a ride or a
Yeah.
passenger.
And that was going to be my exact advice is give it a try. You have to give it a try because you won't know until you try it, and then you may be loving it and just wanting to go all the time.
I mean, you won't know until you go.
That's
If you
right.
don't go, you
What's
won't
the
know.
Nike
Because-
This is
sign?
true.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just
Because it is an adventure every time. That is if you
Yeah.
want a new adventure every time you go, that's what you're going to get.
So
Just
stay
do it.
tuned to our adventures, and we have a great videos. Just on the dock, ready to drop. We're going to be heading to Sturgis. The countdown. It's 3 weeks away.
3 weeks. We're just talking to Lance and the crew.
We have our house. We have our schedules and fun. Not schedules like, even though we're going to be doing the meet and greets, and we'll share those with you.
Yeah. We want to thank you guys.
Yeah.
You raised some great children. The families have all been behind what we're doing.
Yes, they have.
We've been riding together for years. We've been friends for longer than that. But it's fun to get out into these places like Jackson Hole or Lubbock, Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
we were lucky.
and see the country together as friends and couples and just enjoy people like Kimberly.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, it's gonna be
Friends
great.
that we meet.
That was fun.
This summer when we walk to Monument Valley from here. That's going to be fun.
And I love the fact that you were talking about Aaron's trip because that wasn't a ride. That wasn't a
No,
trip.
that was an
It
that
a-
was an experience.
That was
It was
experience.
definitely an
Yeah.
experience, and if you haven't looked at those 4 or 5 drops, you need to look at them
It's
because I put
so
one
you
on
have to watch
LinkedIn
it.
today, which is more related to business, but hopefully my peeps that are out there in the financial services world get a lift from that. It's motivational. It's inspirational.
It is.
Yeah.
And thank you to you three for all the hard work. Sorry, Josh. All the hard work that you put into all of
Yes.
this. I mean, everything. You know, just from the phone calls, the packing, the everything,
Everything.
the
from-
filming. Yeah, all that.
And if any of you need parts, I'll be here till midnight tonight.
Where would they
Shoot
find
me an
them?
email. What's that?
Where would they find the parts?
Well, you can find the parts at 2LaneLIVE.com.
Yada yada.
Yep, that's bada bing, bada boom, yada yada.
Well, thanks
Plenty of
for
stuff,
joining us.
blogs.
Thank
Yeah.
you for having us.
Thank you.
We
Thanks
love
for
you.
having us.
And
We
can
love
they see
you.
these jackets?
Yes.
Don't forget to go to Harley Davidson and check these jackets out
Yo.
if you're into leather.
We'll be wearing them shortly.
They don't
Yeah.
have to be into leather.
Right.
They can be.
Oh, phone down.
So hey,
What do they need to do?
nothing, because
Ring
I
that
already
bell.
told them.
Actually, you know what? Real
Go ahead.
quick, because Barney is watching. Quick shout out to Barney De Simone. He dropped off these handmade obsidian knives. It's not focusing for some reason, but they are badass. They're sharp as hell. Don't mess around.
They're
Good
all
stuff.
And
natural
he's given
pieces.
us a few books as well.
He has some
So
great travel
we
stuff.
appreciate that.
And
All
back
right.
to you.
Hey,
What do they need to do though?
So please subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up. Comment.
that
It
bell.
helps the algorithms, right?
Are you an influencer?
What, Laura?
Ring that bell. Ding ding.
hey.
We'll see you
down the
road.
Down the road. All right. Well, like I said, end broadcast. There we go. Know what I'm doing. Peace, y'all.